Hi and welcome to Help Your Kids podcast. My name is Dr. Mish and I'm a psychotherapist, a coach, and I'm also a lecturer in child and adolescent mental health. And this podcast is all about how you can help your kids, and my co-host and I do it from a position of being parents, but we're also therapists.
Yeah, so I'm Shelley Smith. I'm also a psychotherapist and supervisor and also visiting lecturer. And similar to Mish, my background is in mental health and wellbeing. Before I became a therapist, I just really enjoyed supporting people within education. And it's just great to now develop our support services for parents and to have this Help Your Kids podcast, which we're really proud of.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Okay.
Yes, are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. We're trying to bring some sunshine vibes. So we're back here. This is kind of the second part to season 2.
Yeah, exciting.
And again, we've had sponsorship for this, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Do you want to give the shout out?
Yeah, so we're
sponsors?
really thankful to the Spoonful of Sugar Fund, and they funded season 1 and then also now season 2.
Amazing.
So we are really grateful to them.
Brilliant.
Because it means we can share our knowledge, our awareness of things, normalise these difficult things that we face as parents. So we're really pleased to have that funding, because without that, these things are really tricky, aren't they? So it's good to have that sponsorship.
Yeah.
So thank you to them.
And also, just to preempt, we would like to do season 3.
We would. And wouldn't everybody else like us to do season 3?
We're open to sponsorship discussions.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just come and find us.
Yeah. Let us know if anyone's interested in sponsorship.
Yeah, but with big thank you to our current sponsors.
Absolutely.
It's been really good that we've been able to be sat in these chairs
Yeah.
and doing this with our lovely producer Megan. Shout out to producer Megan there.
Shout out to the wonderful Megan.
She's keeping us on track. Thank
Absolutely.
goodness. Everyone needs a Megan.
We do. And we definitely need to be kept on track.
Definitely. So today, let's get on with today. I've got a random hair on my face. It's really annoying when that happens. So what we're going to talk about today, the reason why we wanted to do this episode is because we get asked constantly from parents who are looking for help and support for their child about what to expect in therapy. Where do we find a therapist? How do we vet that therapist? Do you know anyone who's got spaces? Do you know anyone who's any good? We just get it all the time.
It's a big thing, isn't it? Because sometimes you're at that stage where you think, my child's struggling, or we need to have a bit of a space where we can go and process things, seek some support. But then you're left kind of thinking, well, where do I turn?
Yes.
And that's the big thing when people reach out to us. It's kind of that Google, sometimes later at night when the children have gone to bed, and you kind of get this long list of pages and pages of therapists, and it can be tricky.
Yeah.
So one of the things we always say is, obviously our profession isn't regulated at the moment, is
No.
it? So anyone in reality can probably do a little bit of a Groupon counselling course and call themselves a counsellor.
Mm-hmm.
So we always say to people to check out their therapist, counselling directory, BACP.
Yeah, or other
like
professional bodies.
Yeah, other professional bodies, just to kind of ensure that the person that you're seeking support from is a member of an awarding body, has the correct insurance, DBS, has a supervisor, which is so important for ethical practice. So,
yeah. So you kind of want to check them out a bit.
Yeah.
Recommendations are always really good.
Yeah.
And I get that a lot. Do you know anyone? So ask your friends, who do they use for their child, or seek out people whose opinion you trust.
Yeah.
But vet your therapist.
Yeah.
Really check them out. Don't be afraid to ask those questions off.
Yeah.
Have you got specific training on this? Can I have a look at your qualifications?
Absolutely.
Are you supervised? Is your work, got the eyes of someone else on it?
Yeah, because that's important, isn't it? And not to be scared of asking those questions.
Yeah.
Because it's a big step, isn't it? And it takes kind of that courage to reach out sometimes.
Yes.
And as a parent, I think sometimes you can experience that feeling of, oh, I failed, or it means I'm not doing a good enough job. So it's good to kind of ask those questions to ensure that you feel comfortable with the therapist that you and your child or your young person has chosen as well.
Yeah, and I'd absolutely say one of the things to be mindful about is if you are even thinking about looking for a therapist for your child or young person, make sure you've also had a thought about your right location, about the kind of commitment of it, not just there might be the back and forth to appointments, but also financially, how much can you afford? I always think that's a really, really good question to. I always ask it of people, like how long do they want to come to therapy for? What's in their budget? And by budget, I don't just mean financial. I mean the commitment to it, I suppose.
Yeah, because it's those things that you've got to think about before. You may know that your child needs that extra support, but it's managing anything else they've got going on after school that they still want to do because it's a part of their enjoyment and identity, and then weighing it up with school as well. So having a think about, you know, the logistics and the realistic side of it, of how you're going to get there, the timings, and also thinking about how is the child going to feel before, if they're coming straight from school, or, you know, if they're rushing off to do something else, making that time after just to, you know, maybe do something that's less heavy so that you can kind of process what's been happening. So yeah, logistically, financially, I think it's something to consider as well.
Do all your thinking.
Yeah.
Work it all out. Because it's always good to do more work at that end, so when the therapy starts, it can be running as smoothly as possible.
Yeah.
And remember that the fit needs to be right. So even this is the tricky thing. I mean, you're trying to explain to someone that the therapeutic fit between therapist and child or young person needs to be the right thing. It's really hard to describe what that thing is.
It is, and sometimes you don't know if you're the right fit for a client or for that child until you start the work, and that's why it's good to always have those regular reviews, isn't it? To check in, how are you finding the sessions, how are you finding the space, and that's why supervision is key, isn't it? To work through those things to ensure that we're working within our competence and within our areas of expertise as well, and that the person feels safe.
Oh, absolutely.
And comfortable in building that relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. So apart from that kind of just basic overview of if you're even searching for someone, what I've found and what the research has found as well is that when you're starting therapy for a child or young person, the parental engagement is really crucial in terms of how successful it will be, which will sound really weird because the parent isn't the one in the room.
Yeah.
But it can really influence the dropout rates, the kind of success of it, the effectiveness. And particularly there's been some research around how the parent perceives and believes what's happening in the therapy can affect attendance levels. Often if parents expect some sort of rapid change, they're likely to be disappointed. And also that can affect whether or not they think it's worth carrying on with the therapy. So there's loads and loads of research around that, and what we wanted to do is kind of just highlight this is not, when we're saying this sort of stuff, this is not stuff we've just made up.
No.
This is stuff that's been well documented. There's been lots of studies. So in terms of what you think are the best indicators of what will make therapy successful for children, young people, in terms of that parental engagement, what would that be?
I think it's at the kind of going back to the initial consultation or the moment they speak to you on the phone or via email or in the assessment. It's trying to get a thorough picture, isn't it, as much as you can, of what the difficulties are, what kind of are the challenges at the moment, understanding that person's lived experience. But the child or the young person knowing the boundaries around confidentiality and consent, because in the therapy world, a young person who is 16 plus can consent to therapy themselves. Anyone younger needs to have that parental consent. And sometimes the child or the young person might be confused about what therapy is. The parent carers might be confused about what therapy is. So having that space to just ask those questions and to understand what the journey might look like, and that there is no magic wand. And
what do you mean?
No, did you know that? There's no magic wand.
I've been waiting for my magic wand.
Well, if you find it, can you send it my way?
Any minute now, it's going to appear.
Yeah, like magic. Yeah, so going back to that kind of magic wand kind of thought process, often parents will say to us, I just want to have my happy child back.
Yes.
I want to have the person that was before, who was confident and smiley, and maybe they're struggling with anxiety or they've become a bit withdrawn. But we always say, don't we, it's not about fixing the child. The child or any client of any age doesn't need fixing. It's about understanding what's going on for them.
Yes.
And to allow them to have that safe space to process things and to maybe learn some strategies. But that session is maybe 40, 45 minutes, 50 minutes long. And it's the work that goes in every other day, isn't it, outside of the actual session?
Yeah, that's something I say a lot. It's like, how do you take this out of the room?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the key things about working with the system that's around the child. So it's, what is your influence as the parent that gets in the way of improvement, or what can you do to support improvement? And it's kind of taking it away from the child has the problem.
Yeah.
There is a problem with this child.
Yeah.
Taking that away and being, actually, there is something that this person needs some help with, and you're part of the solution.
Yeah. And you're part of the team. We always talk about that holistic approach and who's on that young person's team.
Yes.
So they may come to see a therapist for a session a week. They may have support at school. They might have a teacher or maybe a learning support assistant or somebody who they trust. They will have their team at home.
Yeah.
So it's forming that structure, isn't it? It's forming that whole dynamic of who can you communicate these worries to outside of this session? How can you have that conversation? What can you use when you're feeling stressed or anxious, maybe?
Yeah.
But knowing that it's not just about you coming to therapy, having a toolkit and then skipping out the room and everything being okay, because that's not reality. It's
the magic wand again.
It is. And I think for parents, we want the best, don't we? We want them to maybe feel happier and confident, but at the same time, it is knowing that we know that life can throw difficult things, and I think pressures on young people is really high, and just making time for them to have a conversation with you and to check in. And one of the things we always hear from parents is, well, what do I say to them when they come out the room? Do I have that conversation? Do I ask them what they've been talking about? And I think we want to be mindful that it's a confidential space, but also we want them to know that they can talk to us if they want to.
Yeah, it's a really hard balance, though, I think.
Yeah, huge.
To go, it's like going, how was your session? And then you go, but you don't need to tell me, but you might want to tell me.
Yeah.
And it's that bit of going, how do I gauge the scrutiny of that session? How do I open up a conversation?
Yeah.
I find that bit really, really tricky. As a parent, I think that bit's the trickiest bit, because I'm certainly aware that some parents almost want a total rundown of the session, and I've heard a variety of different places of parents saying, did you talk about me? Was it about me? And it's like, you've kind of got to get over your own stuff
and
as
separate
a parent and separate it out.
I think, with transparency, it's a normal feeling, isn't it, to have if someone in your family is in therapy or seeking support in a different, through counselling, you are going to think, are they talking about me? What are they saying about me? Did I do this? Is this my fault? Because it is like they're going to a space where they're going to maybe talk about their feelings, and it might be nothing to do with you, or you may get mentioned, but actually it's part of that process, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the other thing that can be challenging sometimes is parents or carers may want to tell the therapist during the week what's happened. So if there's been something that's been particularly challenging, they might want to email a list of those difficulties, or to kind of try and guide the session. So can you focus on this week, because this is a big thing? And actually we do want to ensure that the young person and the child has that safe space, and we're guided by them, aren't we? And
Yes.
we want to have a holistic approach, but we also want to be mindful that we want to work with what they bring.
Yeah, it's that, and again, that's tricky.
Yeah,
From both sides.
definitely.
It's tricky because as a parent, you want to find out what's kind of going on without being intrusive, but also you do want to raise the things that are important. Oh, we've had a bad week, or they're not going to school, or they've been really upset, or you kind of do want to feed that back.
Yeah.
But I suppose for parents to understand that whilst you may feed that back to the therapist won't use that as part of their way of fixing your child.
No.
And I say fixing with the thingies. You wouldn't think I'm an academic saying the thingies.
quote marks.
That's
in
the
case
thing.
you can't see.
but it's not. We don't use it, but it might inform our understanding of where the child is at.
Yeah.
So I personally wouldn't necessarily go in and be like, right, we've got to make sure you do your homework. For example,
No.
I'd probably use it in a way of, oh, this has been a bit of an update, or I've been told you've had a bit of a tricky week. Is that something we want to look at today? Do we not?
Exactly.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Should we ignore it? Shall we include it? And
and
again, be guided by what they want to do.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we do need to have that awareness of what's happened, and that's important, so that so we can risk assess and things like that. And it is sometimes letting the young person know that you're aware of it, but that you won't be asking questions, but you'll hear if they do want to speak about it. So again, they've got autonomy, because children and young people don't really have that much control over things at that age. So how they get to therapy is guided by their parents or carers, the timings, logistically, the financial side of it.
Yeah.
So it's really important that they have that autonomy, I think.
Yeah. And one thing that comes up a lot with some of the questions I have from parents is, are they allowed to be part of the review? Will there be a review?
Yeah.
First of all, and are they allowed to be part of it?
Yeah.
In my experience, it's yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have the same thing.
In my experience, that's how we work. We really value that holistic kind of team approach. So the parent and the child would come to the initial assessment. The parent or carer might not necessarily stay for the whole assessment, but they'd be there to kind of go through the kind of paperwork side, to understand what the difficulties are, to understand the financial side, the support outside of the session. And then we normally do a review around 6 to 10 weeks, and then we'll hold regular reviews. But the child or young person has autonomy again over what is shared.
Yes.
So we will say, right, we've been doing this work. This is what we've done so far. This is what we've learnt. Which of this would you like to share at the review? So they still have that ownership over, actually, I want to keep that confidential. Obviously, we have to manage risk and things like that. But then they know that it is a team around them. And then even as you come to an ending, because it can feel strange talking about endings when you've only just started therapy, but it's really important that they have that safe, planned ending. Yeah. Because when you form a relationship with someone, you've got that attachment, and actually you can feel a sense of loss, can't you?
Of course.
Grief. So having the family as part of that ending process, to celebrate the success, celebrate how hard they've worked, and to recap some of the strategies that they're going to use in their own time going forwards as well.
You said a really important thing there about risk. So I think it might be worth us just touching a little bit on that.
Yeah.
So again, a lot of parents say, well, if it's confidential, what do I do if they've disclosed something? And obviously, risk trumps everything.
Yeah.
If there is risk in the room, we have to address it, and you should really be able to expect that your child's therapist, will make you aware that if there are any issues around risk, safeguarding, any concerns, as a matter of course, that should be being done. There shouldn't be any anything that isn't disclosed at that point. And that should be explained as well at various points, because often the first session is crammed quite full and you're taking a lot in, and particularly when you're in the client seat or in the parent seat, you're you've got your own stuff going on in that first session. So if you need to revisit any of the things you've agreed to or you're not clear, I would always go back to that therapist and say, look, I know we've covered this, but can I just clarify?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that contracting, like you said, it's done in the first session.
Yeah.
But sometimes we do need to revisit that contract,
Yeah.
don't we? And think about what's going to need to be in place to make the session the best it can be.
Sure.
Just thinking around risk as well. I know we've done an episode on talking about tricky topics, and that can be a difficult thing, can't it, if your therapist has to call you in to have a conversation. And it can be tricky for the child or the young person as well, because they've maybe wanted to tell you in confidence, but we've covered a contract with them also that we can't keep that confidential. But again, in my experience, if someone has felt that they can trust you to tell you those things, they've probably felt very alone in dealing with those things.
Yes.
So actually it's a really positive thing when you can call a parent in to say, actually, this is something that they've disclosed. They've been really brave. It's about us now. What can we all do to support, rather than it feeling like the young person has got to manage it on their own?
Yes. Yeah. It's really worth us just
Yeah.
revisiting that, because it can feel ever so confusing.
It can.
Like, what bits will I know and what bits won't I know? But fundamentally, what we know is that the more, as a parent, the more you can understand that the therapy requires you to collaborate with the therapist and everything that's going on with that child, that is more likely to end up being a successful bit of therapy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say something around the speed of therapy. I would really encourage you as a parent to manage your expectations around this. Often we want quick fixes. You know, we live in a world where we get things rapidly, and that's not the case with therapy. Often you will see your child or young person's symptoms come out a bit more. They can be a bit more challenging. And then you can be thinking to yourself, I'm not sure this therapy is working.
Yeah.
It's clearly not working. You're angrier than normal, or you seem to be more stressed or anything. But in my experience, again, that's really normal. That's sort of kind of to be expected, that things are going to get a little bit worse.
Yeah.
Because they're addressing it. The stuff is coming out. It's being processed. It's being, and your kind of role at this point as a parent, trust the process of it. Speak to the therapist. Hopefully get some reassurance around that as well.
And sometimes it is that reassurance that is needed, because if parents are feeling quite anxious, they might be thinking, I'm paying for this therapy, it's not working, my child's still anxious, they're still stressed. It is having those open conversations, isn't it? And to normalise the process of therapy, and that this can be, you know, it's actually, as much as it might be tricky at home because those new emotions or, you know, extra emotions are coming out, but it is positive because they are connecting with things that maybe they've suppressed before.
Yes.
But that's why it's important to have that kind of collaboration, in the sense of, okay, so what happens in this session, what happens at home? Do you need to give them space at home? You know, maybe they need some time to regulate, or they need a bit of space just to process what's happening. Do they want to spend a bit of time with you, checking in and talking through things? So just having that conversation about what they need.
Yes.
What do you need during the week? What do you need after your therapy session? What do you need before?
Yeah. And also I'd ask those questions not straight after the therapy session.
No.
I'm always a big believer. You know, it's like, prepare for all of this when there's not a time of heightened stress or emotion.
Yeah.
So make sure you're having that conversation before this, you know, what might you need? I might need this, might need that. Okay, then we'll try all of those things.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's that thing of knowing that you're all on the same side.
Yeah.
The child wants to feel better.
Yeah.
You would like the child to feel better. The therapist would like to help your child feel better.
Yeah.
Everyone is fighting the same corner here.
Yeah.
So it's really, really key to collaborate and feel like you've got some influence over that by I suppose as a parent, I would be asking, what is it that I can do to kind of uphold everything that's happening in that half an hour, whatever it is, 50 minute session? What is it that I can do at home so that we're all on the same page? We're giving the same message. And I think parents, this bit can be the trickiest bit to go, I need to change as well as a parent. I might need to be adapting some of the things that I've done before, because I know that if I rescue, for example, with anxiety, that might then be undoing all of the therapy work that's happening in the room. So I've got to hold my nerve with it.
You do. I think that's really important, recognising what's your stuff, what's their stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you might be feeling really, really anxious and you want to stop them feeling anxious, but yet you're modelling that anxiety or stress, which we know we're only human. I know we've spoke a lot about this, haven't we, as parents and therapists, that, you know, it is recognising maybe what your own triggers are. Because sometimes in that situation you can be triggering each other.
Sure.
And I think as well with reviews and things like that, and thinking about the team, it's about schools and colleges as well. So they might not necessarily be aware they're in private therapy, but if the therapist has observations around difficulties or barriers or anything that maybe needed to be communicated to school or college, you know, it's empowering the parent or carer to have that conversation, again, building the team around the child or young person. So that's a big part of therapy, actually, that is not always clear to start with.
Yeah. It's all about collaboration, really, in my mind. So just to highlight that the change is not a linear thing. It's very wibbly wobbly. I call it the wibbly wobbly line of change.
Yeah, or it can be a tangled ball of wool, can't it?
Very tangled. Can be really messy, but just know that you're on the same page. So we want to do a few like key takeaways, the kind of top tips for parents. One that I've got is that idea of collaboration. Yeah. So collaborate with the therapist, know that you're all on the same team, and also be patient. Trust the process, manage your expectations around the speediness of change. So remind yourself that if you were trying to change something yourself, how long that would take. It's never overnight. It can be over a longer period of time than you'd like, but trust the process with that. What would you say?
I'm just thinking about, you know, noticing the small things, because sometimes the small things are actually the big things. Yeah. And we might have a goal in mind of, you know, for therapy to be successful, this is what we need to achieve, but we don't want to discount the times where maybe a child does share, or they're able to cope in a situation, or they're able to face a fear. Yes. Or they're able to maybe ground themselves and soothe themselves on their own, rather than, you know, seeking that reassurance or support from somebody else within the house. So it's just those little things that actually we want to really zone into those things and celebrate them, because that's what gives us confidence to continue, I think.
Yeah, the one step at a time.
Yeah.
And knowing that it can be a bit of a tangled mess to have to untangle, and that can take a while. So, hold your nerve, parents.
Yeah.
But also remember to ask the right questions.
Ask the questions, and also recognise your emotions, that they're valid, and to think about your own self-care and what you're going to do.
Yes, love that. So what I wanted to, in terms of wrapping this one up, I suppose, is that we've been sent a comment, a question. So I'll read it out to you.
It's always great to have people's questions.
Indeed, yeah. So basically, this person has said, my child started therapy, and it's made me realise how much they struggle with how they see themselves. So that's a real common thing.
It is.
They're constantly comparing themselves to others online.
It's a big thing.
Big thing. How do I support their self-worth without making it worse? And we're going to do a episode on this.
Yeah.
So this has been really good for us to have something coming in that we then can turn into an episode. Yeah. And what you'll see, particularly over these next few episodes, is that we've been able to take comments or questions or key things that people have said. What do I do about this? And try and answer them as much as we can. So if you want the answer to this one,
next episode,
tune in to the next one. Yeah.
And it's really good to have your questions, because often these questions are things that we come up against a lot. So it's really good to normalise and share information around it.
Yeah. So we're going to answer that, hopefully, next time. And there's also, we wanted to highlight a resource.
Yes, definitely.
That one of our ambassadors has been able to put together. So do you want to say a bit about that, Shelley?
So our Sunrise Wellbeing Ambassador, Georgia, she has been wanting to use her own experience of therapy in her journey to support others. So she has created lots of resource for us to share with families around what to expect from therapy, how to support your child outside the sessions. But she's also created like a fold-up booklet, which is all about your wellbeing, self-care, grounding strategies, journaling.
Brilliant.
So she's been amazing. So
shout out
to Georgia,
well done.
our Sunrise
Fantastic.
Ambassador, and we'll put the links to the resources.
So
as
this
well.
is something that they can download for free.
Yeah, download for free.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and share it, use it.
Yeah, fab.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure that's in the comments, and we'll put a link wherever we need to put a link.
Fantastic.
Our wonderful producer will no doubt tell us how to do that. I got a thumbs up there. So we'll make sure that's available. But so that's available for anyone to have a look at. But also next time we'll be trying to address the question around the kind of comparison to others online and see if we can help out with that question.
Yeah.
But
and if you have got any questions, please feel free to send them in.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we say, hopefully we'll keep answering these as we go on through the next load of episodes.
Yeah.
So, until next time.
Let's get a brew. Let's have a cup of tea. See you soon.
See ya.